I think it's up there. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece like, you know, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill or College Dropout.
So that's saying a lot.
It's a massive. No, it's to me.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is a motherfucking classic.
I'm not ready to put it.
It is. Do you give that a 10?
I give it a 9.5.
God damn. What?
It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What you do, you integrate it with cream.
Speak repression. Who's the teacher that's teaching it? What's the arm that's helping the teacher reach it? What's the word and who's defining it? Who is learning it and who is blinded by it? Who's the victim and who is dicking them? These are questions to ask worldwide. See the methodology, the process of genocide. Don't let indoctrination lead you to homicide.
Okay.
Welcome to the 2Black Network. I'm semi-conscious.
No BS.
Hidden one.
And today we are discussing / reviewing, I would say the hottest album out right now, Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Another TDE classic. And I guess, let's just jump right into it. Our initial thoughts, our vibes and such.
Well, my initial rating is a 9.5 out of 10.
What?
I can't give it 10. 9.5 out of 10. There it goes.
You need a Russian judge? Why you can't give it
9.5 out of 10. Yeah.
Well, okay, what's the, I need to know this. Like, what is it
just you know,
that keeps it from being a 10?
I'm opening room for
all right,
there to be better albums.
Just so I can understand what your 10 means, what's an album that was a 10 to you?
4 Hours Only was a 10. Oh, no. 9.5 out of 10.
You don't give 10s?
No, I don't give 10s.
Wow.
Oh, that's unfair.
All right. As long as you
to
don't
say that it was
10s.
10.
As long as you don't
to say that it was a
10s.
10 would be to say that it was perfect.
All right. So as long as you don't give 10s and you gave this 9.5, okay. But if you gave another album 10, I want to know what that album is.
No, I don't have another album that's 10.
All right. It is what it is.
I mean, is it my favorite? It's interesting because I don't think this album is my favorite Kendrick album, but I think it's one of his strongest albums, if that makes sense. Because me personally, I like To Pimp a Butterfly slightly more. I think it resonated with me a little more for when that album was dropped and where I was when that album was dropped, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But that's just my personal opinion.
But I'm just gonna let you know though that Pimp a Butterfly is definitely not better than this album. I just want you to know that.
I mean, I think that's debatable.
It's not debatable.
I think track for track is debatable. Like,
there's like 2 tracks on Damn that would destroy the entire Pimp a Butterfly. And
you haven't even listened to Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, but that's that's neither here nor there. No, I'm just messing with you because Pimp a Butterfly was dope. Like, I did like We Gonna Be Alright.
The anthem of 2015, probably.
Yeah. King Kunta was on that, right?
King Kunta.
I wasn't really feeling
That's
King
the thing.
Kunta.
A lot of people weren't.
really
I
like
actually
Kunta.
was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like, and this might be me projecting, I felt like To Pimp a Butterfly was Kendrick's response to Good Kid, Mad City being a commercial album.
Oh God. Listen, if you were a fan of Kendrick when he was, had his mixtapes out, when J. Cole had his mixtapes out, around the time when they were, freshman class, and then he comes out with, Good Kid, Mad City. It's like, yo, who is this nigga?
So what happened? He signed. That was his first signed project?
No, that was his first major release. That was the second album.
The first album was what? Was it?
Kendrick Lamar LP.
Okay.
I had that song. If you remember, no, that was a mixtape. Do you remember that song that I showed you way back when I was trying to put you on? But he was being hard headed. Yeah. The song Faith.
Yeah, that was a dope song. That
was Kendrick Lamar LP.
Oh, that was a dope song. Okay.
And then from Kendrick Lamar LP to Cooking Man. It was like, who is this nigga? What the fuck is this bullshit? Swimming pools of alcohol? Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. I'm so irritated with that. It was like a lot of people like me were telling other people, yo, this Kendrick Lamar dude, he's a conscious rapper, he's dope. And then he comes out with this bullshit and everybody thinks that it's conscious hip hop. But it's not. Yeah, that was not a goddamn conscious about this fucking album.
Saying that he's not conscious.
Yeah.
That was my experience because like, No BS was like, so yeah, you gotta listen to Kendrick, I was like, oh, his album's dropping. So I listened to the album and I'm like, this ain't really, I mean, it bangs, but this ain't really conscious. I'm like, I don't understand why everyone thought this dude was conscious.
Yeah, and this is how much I liked him. I gave him the go-ahead. I co-signed it before I even heard the album.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yo, this album's coming out. It's going to be fire. Okay. Trust me, it's going to be fire. Okay. And it came out and had some fire vocals, had some fire beats, but it wasn't the dude I was being braggadocious about.
Right.
I mean, it had bangers. Like, that album, it's actually a pretty strong album musically and commercially. But I felt like To Pimp a Butterfly was his response to basically selling out. Or like his, and he sort of, explores those themes as well on this album, though from a different place. Like he mentions, his insecurity about being, successful or the shock value, I think was his words of his success. He mentions, familiar themes if you're a Kendrick fan of, struggling with pride and humility, and sort of coming to terms with, who he is as an artist, with who he is as a person. Mm-hmm. So I find like,
which he did a lot throughout his mixtapes and his, Kendrick Lamar LP, To Pimp a Butterfly. He explored different, how do I say this? Different compartments of himself.
Okay.
And which is what he's continuing to do with his album, which is what everyone does. Everyone does. Everyone contemplates whether or not they're wicked or they're righteous. Everyone does that.
Okay. Well, all I know is like, you have been telling me about J. Cole. You have been telling me about Kendrick Lamar. And especially at a time when I kind of like distance myself from music in general, you know. But when it comes to the concept of being conscious, I kind of like, I guess I kind of like compare everyone to Public Enemy. You know what I mean? Because Public Enemy goes back to my generation, my time when I was younger, 2 is Public Enemy was very specifically and directly political. Cause I wouldn't even let folks get away with calling a Tribe Called Quest a conscious group.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? Because
they didn't try to be conscious.
Right, but people called them that.
Because they looked it. They dressed it.
Well, they had the aesthetic.
They had an aesthetic of a conscious group, but it's not like that. They did have like some kind of Afrocentrism to them. You know what I mean? But their message, right, but their message wasn't consistently consciousness, nor was it threatening. You know what I mean? And, you would, like, for example, they would sample The Last Poets, right? They would do things like that. So you feel that they're in that circle, but that wasn't the centerpiece of what they did.
That's the interesting thing to me about Tribe. And I don't mean to like get too far from the album, but like they would sample The Last Poets, and anyone familiar with like that sample, it's amazing to me that they have so many white fans. I'm like, because their consciousness, they keep it under the surface, but it's a pretty potent stream of like, black militancy.
Right.
And I don't really think they were explicit about that until their very latest project, which I would say is their most political.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I always found that interesting about Tribe.
Right. So when folks were saying that, okay, this guy is a conscious rapper, I wasn't really feeling it. And I didn't think conscious rapping really existed after, Lauryn Hill's project was done. You know what I mean? And she was finished with, I kind of feel like conscious rap just kind of like died. And then here comes Kanye West, and he does All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, like tracks that, meant a great deal to me. And then he kind of like dipped off, But see, Kendrick Lamar is different because his trajectory is different, and from how I perceive him. You might perceive him differently, but I kind of feel like there's been like this gradual growth to his consciousness. And then I feel like Damn is kind of like the album where he's just like putting it out there. Like I don't even care anymore. This is.
I don't feel that way at all. But
What do you think? How do you feel like maybe it's the other way around, or?
I feel like he had a blip with Good Kid, Mad City, and now he's back to being himself. I disagreed with his politics on Super Butterfly, or well, some of the statements that he made on Super Butterfly, and on this album, I feel like he just now that he sees himself as an Israelite, I don't believe that he'll make the mistake that I believe he made on Super Butterfly, where that whole black people are the biggest hypocrites of 2015 thing. I don't think that that's coming from him again moving forward. So I don't think that he was at one point when he came out like ground zero, or like he moved up. I don't feel that way. I just feel like he's just
No, I'm not saying he was at ground zero. I'm just saying that there's been development to his consciousness. Yeah. Like you can see the development, and this kind of like is kind of like the breakout piece of where he was going with his consciousness.
Right, I understood that.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree with that, and I think this is it's a logical follow up to Pimp a Butterfly. I feel like Kendrick has been sort of the voice for I would say he's the voice of what black people are thinking, or what certain black people are thinking in response to the times that we're living in. That's been like sort of his journey of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So I felt like there were moments in To Pimp a Butterfly where he was saying things that I had thought before, and like it was a weird experience.
Did either of you guys listen to Kendrick Lamar LP?
I never listened to that.
No, yeah, you should. You should. Because you wouldn't be saying these things. You wouldn't be saying these things.
All right. I'm going to go back and check it out. All right. What did he say on the LP?
I'll give you one of my favorite songs, Kendrick Lamar LP, was Vanity Slaves. I think I showed you that song also.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah. That was fire. I remember that.
It was fire. Yeah. The album is fire. You should check it out.
Yeah.
I always knew he was woke.
Yeah.
From day one.
But it's not the wokeness that I'm talking about. I'm not saying that he went from not being woke to woke. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that like there's been gradual progression in his wokeness, and then the Damn album is kind of like the like
Well, I still think
it's like it's hard. I don't have the word for it. It's like the Damn album is like damn. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Nina Simone. It's like how she gradually went from, and the next thing you know is Mississippi Goddamn.
Right.
So like very directly in your face about it. And telling white people at the concert, sit down. I'm you fucking disrespecting me. Sit down. You know what I mean? Like it became.
Nina Simone was a white supremacist at one point.
Exactly. Well.
Well.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I'm just saying like how you can see the progression of her wokeness. You know what I'm saying?
I guess if you take out, because I can't. If I'm looking at his 4 albums and I see Good Kid, Mad City, I don't see a progression. I see Kendrick Lamar LP, Conscious album, Good Kid, Mad City, commercial, and then then To Pimp a Butterfly, back to being himself. Damn, he finds out he's an Israelite. Like that's like a new twist to Kendrick Lamar. I don't see like a progression. I see the same Kendrick Lamar with a twist.
Got you. All right.
Well, okay. Let's,
you closer to him than I am.
Let's, I suppose, go track by track, because we're touching on a lot of themes. Right. I don't know if everyone has listened to the album. I'm pretty sure most of you have. But, so what are your thoughts on the initial... Because the album really starts out very strong, like with Blood and DNA and NTI. It's like, it's sort of like a opening flurry of quite a bit. He actually says a lot. He calls white people an abomination, which is interesting. And I sort of share those.
Now, when you say he called white people abomination, that's the...
On DNA?
That's the song DNA, right? Yeah. And so there's a line in there where what does he say? He says, your DNA is an abomination?
Yeah.
All right. Now, how do we know he's talking about white people?
What?
Because I see it. It says, tell me something. You motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. I'd rather die than to listen to you. My DNA, not for imitation. Your DNA, an abomination. This how it is when you're in the Matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you sow, and stacking up the footage, living on the go. There's nothing there that tells me that he's specifically talking about white people.
Oh, so how do we come to that conclusion? That we're projecting?
No, I'm just wondering how do we come to that? We arrived at the conclusion he's talking about white people. I'm not saying whether you're right or wrong. I'm curious.
I mean, he calls himself an Israelite.
Yeah, well, Israelites definitely refer to white people as the devil. But do you know why?
Well,
right. No, but
that would explain
knowing that he's an Israelite, knowing that he's saying that he's an Israelite. You got to look at what he's saying through that lens.
Okay.
You got to consider that when you read his lyrics.
I feel like
if his DNA is not for imitation and your DNA is an abomination, come on, it's quite obvious what he's saying, knowing that he's an Israelite.
I don't think it's obvious.
I got you.
All
right.
To most people.
We put it like that. I think I see it then. You know, I just wondered if there was something that set that up, like in the lyrics somewhere that I might have missed.
No. For me, there's nothing that set that up.
It's just context.
It's listening to it
context.
Again.
Okay.
Set that up for me, made it obvious.
He did say he has loyalty inside his DNA. So
right.
I'm guessing, and I'm guessing this is in the same vein of everything he said before.
Right.
So, what else would he mean by it? Your DNA's, your blood's an abomination.
Right. Damn. I love this. This is great.
And then that goes into Yah, which I think is one of my two favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, I really like Yah too.
Yah is nice, man.
It just puts you
it's a nice song.
Completely different space.
Yeah. First of all, just melodically, this song is perfect.
Right.
I was driving and I had that joint on loop, just pumping it, cause, it's like, it's just the melody. It's just
melodically
beautiful.
For me, I like Lust. I like Love too. Fear is dope.
Right. I mean, the music on the album, obviously, Kendrick has always had a high standard of musicianship around him. Particularly his last 3 albums, I think, have all been strong musically.
Yeah. Clearly there was a connection between what he wanted to do, like, musically and what he was doing lyrically, in this because, it's just like, I think the lyrics and the music match so well, song for song. You know what I mean? There was never a song where you felt like, this feels a little put together or forced together or, you know what I mean? Like the process was cheated. You felt like everything was well designed, right? But one of my favorite lines on Yah, without a doubt, is the one where he says, "I'm not a politician. I'm not about a religion. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black no more. That word is only a color. It ain't facts no more."
And when he said it ain't facts no more, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, wow, he's really out there.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like, I don't know how many. See, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how many people are actually familiar with what Israelites believe or anything. Because
I think with him saying that he's an Israelite makes him want to look into it. And then him following up that line by saying, "My cousin told me to know my worth." And Deuteronomy said that we all been cursed.
Right.
He's telling you, and he does that multiple times.
Right. And this is what I love about this is that where you've had rappers in previous generations who had some awareness, right? Mm-hmm. But they would only hint at it. Like, Nas hinted at it, calling us like the lost tribe and all that kind of stuff.
In my life, people hint at it.
Yeah, you heard the
this
hinting.
Young lady from the church we used to go to. I'm not going to say her name, but somehow it came up in conversation. Favorite books of the Bible, and her favorite book was Deuteronomy. And I would ask her why, and she would never give me a straight answer. Okay. I was never satisfied with her answer because her answer was always BS.
You always felt like there was something else.
I knew I'm not stupid. I know that you're not being straight. So now looking back, I could decode what she was telling me.
Okay. And then you have Lauryn Hill making comments like "Our survival documented in the Bible." You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's actually folks in the Israelite community who woke up because of those hints. You feel what I'm saying? Just because of those hints. Mm-hmm. I heard a Israelite brother kind of like testify to that, like say like it was her saying that, like, our survival documented in the Bible. He's like, what does that mean? That he kind of like that made him go research. and find his way. But dang, it's like, this is the first time a rapper of that caliber just said everything. You know what I mean? He just said everything. He had,
what was that? Forgive them, Father?
Our survival documented in the Bible. I don't know. I have to look it up and see, you know, but, it could have been Forgive Them, Father. I'm not sure. But I mean, Kendrick Lamar, like, he said everything, like having his cousin's, phone call, you know, on the thing where he's basically breaking down all this information, talking about Deuteronomy 28, blacks, Latinos and Native Americans, like just all this stuff, you know. And
damn.
So there's no guessing.
Yeah,
like
the title "Damn" seems like his reaction to this revelation.
Well, it's all encompassing of everything because it is the reaction to the revelation, and it's also the state of black people damned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're cursed people, you know? So it's like him, and then that look on his face on the album cover, I'm telling you, like the Israelite world went crazy. It's like on Instagram, you see all this, you know, messages back and forth and everybody talking about like, just the look on his face.
The thing is, like, the Israelite world is a
pretty niche world.
It's pretty small.
Right.
So I'm wondering what the implications of this album are.
I do see people mentioning it.
I think he just turned it mainstream, to be honest.
The conversation. Yeah.
Like, I think in a few months, you know, I think it's happening now. We won't really see it.
I mean, Kendrick always gave Crystal Hotepi vibes, so.
Well, you said though, Semi, that you think a lot is going to go over a lot of people's heads, like, and then you was listening to some other podcasters today who basically was saying that you were saying, Semi, that that it's going to go over a lot of people's heads. Like, and then you listen to some podcasters today, and they were basically saying that one of the things they appreciate about him is that he's always, like looking for higher ground, like intellectually and all that kind of stuff. So they were just viewing the album simply as intellectual, stimulation and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they were,
you know,
reviewing To Pimp a Butterfly. And, they said something like, you know, one thing they always appreciate about Kendrick is that he's making strides towards becoming more conscious.
So they weren't talking about Damn when they said that?
No.
Oh, my fault. I thought they were talking about Damn. They were talking about Pimp a Butterfly.
Who said that?
Oh, got you. All right.
That was for Color Nerds.
Oh.
But like,
see, that's my thing with people who. How can you make comments on someone's past when they have all this material that you didn't listen to, and then make comments about who they used to be?
But I just did that. You totally insulted me right here live on this show.
Don't do it again.
Motherfuck you. I'll do it anytime I want. But why are you saying they did it? You don't know what they listened to?
If you listen to his stuff, you wouldn't say that. That's the point.
But you don't know what they listened to.
No, if you...
That's making them say that.
They listen to Good Kid, Mad City. They listen to Pimp a Butterfly. There's a progression there, or seemingly a progression. But for me, it was a total sellout. Listening to Overly Dedicated, listening to Kendrick Lamar LP, listening to Section 80, and then listening to Good Kid, Mad City, that was a sellout. And you could tell that the sellout was coming because he's a Compton rapper. Here comes Drake. Here comes Game. All these people started coming around him. And then Good Kid, Mad City came out. And it was like, yo, what the fuck is this bullshit?
How did people feel about it? How did everybody else feel about Good Kid, Mad City?
They fucking loved it.
Really?
Right.
I don't know.
It was well received.
I know a lot of people who were listening to Kendrick Lamar in my little small circle in college. And they weren't too crazy about it. Good Kid, Mad City, but they didn't feel like it was a total sellout how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. But you know, the zeitgeist loved it.
But the thing I wanted to get from, because like, that's the thing I'm interested in. Like, people will call, well, I can hear people calling Kendrick Hotep, and that's not a new thing. And because in my opinion, Kendrick's the wokest rapper in the game right now. But what does it mean to be woke? Is really what fuels a lot of these discussions. It's like, you know, I'm pretty sure, I haven't really seen too much on the social media wave what everyone's reaction has been to like his statements about being an Israelite, Deuteronomy. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Deuteronomy.
But I can hear like what certain people would say. So I'm just curious to see how that conversation is going to evolve over the next few weeks, months, whatever. But aside from Ya, which I think is my favorite track on the album, aside from perhaps Fear, what else stood out to you guys about the album?
Element was dope.
Yeah, I really like Feeling. But Fear stood out.
Yeah, Fear without a doubt.
Like,
I think he said besides Fear.
Fear is why are we leaving out Fear?
No.
Are you saving it for later?
Did I say besides Fear?
Yeah.
No, because Fear.
I might have misheard you. So
Fear is interesting because we were like just talking about like this goes back to what I said about Kendrick saying things that I was like I've been thinking. Like listening to Kendrick albums, like listening to conversations that I had in my head.
Mm-hmm.
At least the last two albums. And Fear is basically about, black parenting, specifically from the perspective of a black boy. Being raised in the hood, by a single mom, and it's interesting how, so my takeaway from it is, this is how generation upon generation of black men have been raised, to fear, to have a certain amount of deference for authority. And that authority, of course, is always, the white authority that governs their lives. And when you look at the history of it, it goes all the way back to Jim Crow. It actually goes all the way back to slavery.
Right.
But you'll see this sort of, and I think he mentions you're going to be fearing me if you don't fear anyone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'll learn deference.
Well, like the things that it says, I beat your ass, keep talking back. I beat your ass. Who bought you that? You stole it. I beat your ass if you say that game is broken. I beat your ass if you jump on my couch. I beat your ass if you walk in this house with tears in your eyes, running from poo-poo and Prentice. Go back outside. I beat your ass, little nigga. That homework better be finished. I beat your ass. Your teacher better not be bitching about you in class. That pizza better not be wasted. You eat it all. That TV better not be loud. If you got it on them Jordans, better not get dirty when I don't know, just like all these reasons why he's getting a beating. But the line that stands out to me the most is like, I beat your ass if I beat your ass twice and you're still here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, if you don't grow up like this, you can't connect to this. You don't know what this is. You don't know what this means. But what we're talking about here for folks who are listening to understand it is that when black males are still in this society today, the brutality is teaching us to submit at an early age. Mm-hmm. Okay. Brutality is teaching us to submit. All right. Now, a black woman who's raising a black son, in her mind, she has to teach him how to submit, because any willfulness that he expresses is something that could get him killed, could get him locked up, could send his life on a trajectory. And let me be clear here. I'm not trying to say that black women beat their kids brutally. I'm not saying those things. Nor am I saying the other extreme, which is that black women are beat their kids because they're trying to save their sons. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that many black women, and far too many black women, as we've been talking about for some time, they have been taught how to perceive their son by a society that hates their son. Right. And a lot of times they don't even realize that they are the white supremacists in the home, conditioning him to submit to white supremacy.
Right. Well, because you mentioned it when we were talking about this. I remember during the Baltimore riots, the kid who went out to participate in the rioting, and his mom sort of publicly
slapped him up.
beat him in public.
And she became a national hero.
Now, the funny thing is, when they ask the kid why he's like doing what he's doing, he's basically saying, my friend was killed by the police. I'm out here for him.
Right.
To stand up for, my dead friend. Mm-hmm. And, she's shaking her head the whole time like, man, where have I gone wrong?
Right.
And she's being celebrated for that. And that exists. There's a context for that. Like, even within the song, that homework better be finished.
Right.
Like, we know about the public school system.
The teacher better not be bitching.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, regardless of the fact that you're being taught white supremacy in your school, and being miseducated, your homework better be finished. And if it's not finished, I'll beat you to submit to that system. Mm-hmm. It's like, all of these have damning consequences for your children.
The Jordans.
Right.
That he was wearing, like, that tells you something about the value systems. You know what I'm saying? And, so it's a bunch of things going on, but what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we being exposed to, and I think this is worthy of a conversation. At some point, we got to do a podcast strictly about this. But just how brutality is still used in the home to get black males to learn to submit.
And if you go back 2 generations from where we're sitting, back in Jim Crow, parents would have to teach their children deference to Jim Crow. Mm. They would have to teach it to them through arbitrary violence, because Jim Crow is an arbitrary system. If you have this, if there is a perception of what would you call it? Rebellion. If a white person perceives that
you sound too free.
Yeah, right. That you're asserting yourself too freely in their presence. Mm-hmm. You can end up in a tree. Yeah. And so your parents had to teach you that justice in this world is arbitrary. Mm. It is what we say it is. Yeah. So if you look at us wrong, you get hit. Right. If you don't come in when we tell you to come in, you get lashes.
Right. Like, always remember you're subject to being beaten.
Right. And remember, if you go back like 2 generations from them, they're in slavery. Right. So black parents are taught historically how to raise their children from slavery. Right. Their parents are basically stand-ins for master.
Right. I think I constantly mention this woman's name, and shame on me that I'm still struggling to pronounce her name, but she is like seriously speaking, like spiritually, she's the love of my life. Of course, my wife is the love of my life, but just in terms of this woman's knowledge package, like this is my chick. Dr. Joy DeGree. It's like crazy I'm struggling to say her name, but she's the one who wrote the post-traumatic slavery syndrome, right? And she has a bunch of really good lectures on YouTube, so please go check them out. But she gave a very good scenario about several scenarios, but one stands out to me right now, where she talked about how black women had to deal with their children in regards to slavery. Because remember, a black mother did not want their child sold, right? So if Massa is looking at the child a certain way, the black mother have to offset how Massa's looking at him. Like, let's say, for example, and I'm not doing any justice to how she set it up, but if Massa is like saying, he's a very athletic kid here. Oh no, this kid, he had 2 left legs. This boy can't jump. He can't do nothing. Right. I wish he had the sense a mule had. You know what I mean? So she had to constantly play down his value. Right. You see what I'm saying? And to him, to make him realize, that you have to be dumber. Now, here we go. I'm gonna kick another little part right here. There was a movie came out called 12 Years a Slave, right? The original movie to that was called Solomon Northup's Odyssey. The actor that was in that, his name escapes me right now, but he was a bald black brother.
I know the scene you're getting at. Mm-hmm. I know the scene you're getting at.
Yeah, there was a part where he was speaking, because remember, he was from the North and he was free, he was educated, and he was speaking to this white man, and the white man said, Solomon, you don't talk nigger enough for me. So he tried to break down his language and say, well, I'm sorry, but that wasn't him. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these things in slavery, those things kind of still exist today. It's like, you don't speak to a police officer that way. You don't speak to your teacher that way. You don't ever defend yourself like that. You know what I mean? You don't do those things because you're a black male in this society. And for those things, it looks like you're challenging power. And once you stand up and try to challenge power, power is going to break your back. Right. And this is what I got to teach you as a child growing up. You know, this is what I got to teach you.
Well, it's amazing how like this is a very consistent theme. Like I remember you showed me the episode of Good Times.
Yeah.
Season 1. By the way, the first season of Good Times is
so woke.
One of the wokest moments in television.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. And it goes back into what Kendrick Lamar is dealing with him being an Israelite. Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, that's actually true. Like, if you want to get more insight into Kendrick Lamar's Israelite message, then I would advise you to watch the first season of Good Times, because you'll see it in the Black Jesus episode.
Right.
Written by a Jew, also.
Actually, I found out that the writer in that season was actually a black man.
I see.
Yeah, the show. Yeah,
that makes it interesting.
Right, go ahead, continue.
But and that actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's just our condition is constant, and I think we were talking about that before. It's like you can listen to like Marcus Garvey, and he sounds relevant. It's like, man, and that's really because our condition hasn't changed.
Right.
So everything that he said then that was applicable to those black people are still applicable to these black people.
Right.
It's the same with Malcolm X, the same with Kendrick Lamar, same with the first season of Good Times. It's
right.
Like anywhere you look at anyone who's seriously and honestly addressing the black condition, they're going to sound the same.
Right. True. But what happened in that episode? That was the episode where Michael came home.
Oh, yeah, that was the episode where Michael's a little one.
Yeah, he's a younger one, yeah.
He came home, and I think he had been, what was he, suspended or something like that?
Yeah, he had been suspended from school because I think, it's something he said about being black. I
Basically,
forgot.
he, challenged his white teachers.
Right.
And corrected them by presenting black history accurately.
Right.
And for that, he was suspended.
Well, it's two different episodes we're talking about because I think that was one episode, but the one with the black Jesus, I think, was a different episode.
Oh, yeah, that was... Wait, what?
Yeah. Because he came home with a black Jesus and he wanted to take it off the wall and put up... and take the white Jesus off the wall, put the black Jesus up, but his mother didn't want him to do it. And she said, well, as long as I've been alive, this, and shout out to Esther Rowe who played that part because, like, she's a conscious woman. Play that part. Yeah, that's like the character is not really who she was in real life, But she's like, as long as I know this is the Jesus that's been in my family. And this is, and so he said, but the Bible says that Jesus is black, And then, where does it say that? That he shows it to her. And then she's like, well, oh my goodness, it does say that, But, and then the funny thing is they put like the wokest line in the dumbest character's mouth, right? I can't remember what the line was. JJ said something, right? Right. What did he say? We both was like, wow, like they put the wokest line in his mouth.
I forgot what he said.
To kind of offset the
message.
Right. Yeah, But anyway, Kendrick Lamar being I hope these are the kind of conversations that are going on around.
I'm fairly certain that there are very interesting conversations going on.
Yeah.
What Kendrick said on this album.
Yeah, because it's like you said before, no BS, like this is an album you have to listen to. And it's a thinking album because it is a piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, good track here. And this is myself from hip hop. I think this is the first album that I've heard in quite a while that I probably can listen to the whole thing straight through. You know what I mean? And not like track here, turn this one off, and track there, turn this one off.
You missed a lot.
Yeah, it's like
you missed a lot.
Just want y'all to know out there, y'all, No BS don't like the way I listen to the album. Like he thinks I listen to the album inappropriately. I should have sat down, not had anything else going on and just listened to the album.
That's what I do when I listen to an album like this. Like when I listen to For Your Eyes Only, I got the album, I went to my car, I sat down in my car and I listened to the album. Like, or another way I listen to the albums, I'd sit down on a couch and I would play the album straight through. Mm-hmm. And I would listen to the song while reading the lyrics. So I really understand what I don't like to just, a lot of people will say things in a debate and I'll know that they didn't really listen to the album. I'll say something like, oh, a lot of people think King Kunta is woke. And people go, oh my God, you don't think that King Kunta is woke? You not woke. You don't. It's like, no, what are you talking about? Did you listen to the song?
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like you can listen to conscious music or quote unquote woke tracks passively. If it's a woke track, you got to listen to it or you'll miss it. Hip hop is message driven. So if you're not catching all the words, you're not catching the song. You're really only catching the beat and the flow.
Yeah.
That's for Future. That's for Drake.
Yeah, I can dig it.
That's for Migos. That's not for J. Cole. It's not for Kendrick.
Yeah, I can dig it. That's true. That's true. Cause, but yeah, I think there's a lot of energy in this one. And hopefully these are the kind of conversations that this album is generating. I think it's up there. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece like, The Miseducation Lauryn Hill or College Dropout.
So that's saying a lot.
It's a massive. No, it's to me.
Miseducation Lauryn Hill is a motherfucking classic.
I'm not ready to put it.
It is. Do you give that a 10?
I give it a 9.5.
God damn. What?
I don't know. I listened to it again. Yo. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is a motherfucking classic.
It really is. And I think this would be a classic too. It'll prove in time. This would be a classic,
I don't know, man.
But honestly speaking, like what hip hop albums in that space in Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is? What hip hop albums in that space?
Illmatic. It Was Written. For Your Eyes Only, which you haven't heard.
I haven't heard.
But you need to hear it.
I don't, as much as I love Illmatic, and I don't know if it's in that same space as Lauryn Hill. I don't know.
Illmatic changed hip hop.
I'm not saying it didn't. I would.
We're still following that formula.
Was it conscious?
Of course, definitely. Before I put Illmatic there, I will put No Dropout there.
Would you call Illmatic a conscious album? Or just a very good album?
I would say a very good album.
Because I would say Miseducation Lauryn Hill is like, it's a conscious album.
It was semi-conscious. It wasn't fully conscious. It was semi-conscious. Funny, your name is semi-conscious and everything. But I wouldn't say it was fully conscious. This is the reason why I think Damn gets in that ilk. The title starts with that kind of power. Damn. Come on, yo.
Nah.
What's wrong with y'all? It starts off with damn.
No. Listen, I love the album. I love the album. Just because I'm disagreeing with you on this point doesn't mean I don't love the album.
I mean, I'm not there yet. It has to stand the test of time before I put it.
I don't know if I would put this on Stillmatic.
You wouldn't even put in class of Stillmatic?
No,
what?
That's absurd.
What?
I think
that's interesting.
I think this is I view it as
I think he's today's Nas.
I can see that.
I think he's today's Nas.
Yeah, I can see that. Though, wouldn't that be J. Cole?
J. Cole, maybe J. Cole. And
I don't see why it has to be right either or.
Yeah, I think they both were like today's Nas, on some real stuff. I just think that.
Well, I guess J. Cole would want that.
No, I mean,
he would want to hear that you consider him today's Nas. I don't really see Kendrick Lamar throwing any props to Nas.
Yeah, I don't think J. Cole cares one way. I'm sorry, I don't think Kendrick Lamar cares one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it would be an honor if someone said that. Like, that's dope, because Nas is dope, But I don't think, I think, yeah, J. Cole kind of covets it a bit. You know what I mean? Because he did make that song out of Discipline and Nas,
Let Nas Down.
Let Nas Down. Yeah, and that song is fine.
And then Nas responded to it, which was dope for him.
Which was dope, yeah.
So Nas...
Yeah, passing the baton.
Well, that's what he said. That's what he said in the song, that he passed the torch to J. Cole. So,
and that's what's up. Ain't nothing wrong with that, But I really like the album. I guess, it may just be me. Maybe there's a lot of people out there disagreeing with me, but I
think his next album will be good.
It has that.
The albums have been getting really well reviewed. It's
really?
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's gonna knock
by black people. It's been getting really well reviewed.
Well, yeah. Well, the White Devil doesn't.
No, there's no. I disagree with that. There are whites who really like this album too.
There are whites that really like Kendrick, and there are whites that are watching the zeitgeist, which is us, black people, and seeing that we like it. But then at some point, they're gonna actually have to listen to it. They go, wait a minute, whose DNA is an abomination?
That's what I'm interested in. Like, I'm interested to see what black people are getting out of the album.
It's like to be white and like this album, you gotta not be listening to this. I'm telling you, a lot of people listen to hip hop and don't listen to the lyrics.
Dude, you know how much white people love Bob Marley? Y'all know that?
Oh,
Bob Marley's the one who's going to chase those crazy bald heads out of town.
They don't love Bob. See, they don't love Bob Marley. They love the Bob Marley they constructed. Yeah. Like they're two different Bob Marley.
You don't think they do the? You don't think they do the same thing with Kendrick Lamar?
I'm about to say that. Like,
okay.
I've seen Kendrick twice. I've seen him in Atlanta at Tabernacle, which the audience that night was around 70% black. And I've seen him at this festival called Panorama, which just started in New York. That audience was about 85% white, if not more.
85.
That's a conservative estimate.
That audience is probably 98% white, man. There were other black dudes.
Represented to 2%.
Do you remember there were other black dudes, and since we were such a large group of black dudes, they were like, "Oh, let's stand over here." These dudes seem cool. Let's be over here. I feel safe.
Yeah.
But that was actually true. It was like, so when I saw Kendrick in Atlanta, it was like I was at the epicenter of the revolution. It was like I felt like I took something that night that will stay with me for the rest of my life. When I went to see Kendrick in Panorama, it was amazing to me that white people were singing lyrics to songs that weren't about them.
Yeah, word.
Like, we gonna be all right.
Yeah, like, all's my life I had to... What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah. Just sit down for this one. God damn.
Yeah.
There were probably gonna be white people saying I'm an Israelite.
Oh, God.
It is. It's already, but this was before Kendrick. There's white folks who were saying they're Israelite. But, white folks love The Last Poets.
Yeah, they do.
They love The Last Poets.
You know, when I was in high school,
black shit.
Really
when I was in high school, a teacher put me on to the Boondocks comic book.
Right, that's right. An Italian teacher, right?
No, he was his last name. I don't want to say his last name.
Okay, yeah, don't say his last name.
His last name was like Slavic. It was like a Slavic last name. He loved that shit, and he told me sometimes, he was like, sometimes you say things that don't make sense. And other times you say things that's like you're a mad genius. And he was like, I want you to read this, but I want you to really read this. And I read it and it like changed me a little bit. And so it's like you said, white people love black shit.
Yeah.
All right, listen, you remember that meme? It was all right. Hangover, the movie. All right. There's a actor, a comedian. I can't remember. He's guys on the chubby side. Whatever that comedian name. What's his name?
Oh, Galifianakis.
Okay. Remember the meme that was going on with him laughing, struggling not to laugh? All right. There was a meme that said that, what white people feel like when they watch Boondocks with their black friends. Like, trying really hard not to laugh, because if you laugh at this movie, because you know how Boondocks, they went hard with the nigga this, nigga that.
Right. Yeah.
And it could be one of those nigga moments of like, yo, why you laughing at that? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, white people get down with just whatever black people do. Is like, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in college, I used to watch reruns of Boondocks all the time. And sometimes my white friends would come in the dorm, because a lot of times we'd leave our doors open. And so they'd see me watching Boondocks. And, you know, they had different reactions. So this is one time, a group of them came to my room because they wanted to go out to the cafeteria to have lunch. And it was actually a mixed group, but it was a white people reacting to Boondocks saying, I can't watch that show. It's too hard for me to watch that show. I can't laugh at any of the jokes. And this one white dude was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I love that show. And I was like, yeah, what's wrong with y'all? He loves the show. And then, you know, we watched a little snippet and he laughed. And I was like, wait a minute, yo, what the fuck are you laughing at?
Yeah, cause, Boondocks kind of went there.
It's like it was two different punchlines. I was like, no, my nigga, that wasn't a joke.
Yeah. And then he's laughing like, yes, the hell it was. Yes, the hell it was. Tomorrow it will be. You know, but Kendrick Lamar, man. In my opinion, I think you know, he made a classic. I don't have a rating system, you know, but
can I call it a classic? I can call it a classic. I can call it a classic. I think it will be a classic.
I think this will prove to be in his volume of work. When his career is done, this would prove to be one of his best pieces.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. This would be one of his most memorable statements.
I want to see. This is like I want to see how he applies this. I feel like this is his reaction to reading Deuteronomy 28. I feel like this is a reaction to adding that to who he is. And I want to see what he becomes with that.
That's interesting. I'm interested in knowing that too, you know.
And I feel like that album will be fire.
I saw a picture of him floating around on Instagram of him with an Israelite brother, but I'm not sure what their relationship. I'm not sure if that was Duckworth, you know. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes from here too. But when I say that about the album, I'm strictly talking about it as an album, you know, like how I'm talking about Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, like I said, it was a semi-conscious album, but to me, it's one of the better hip hop albums that were ever made, you know. And I kind of feel like this album is kind of cut from that ilk. And, you know, I'm sure you guys might disagree with that, but I just feel like it's cut from that cloth. It's not like a slop together album. It feels like a legitimate masterpiece.
You haven't been listening to a lot of hip hop.
No, that's the problem. I have been listening to a lot of hip hop, and none of it is at this standard.
You've been listening to that shit that's on the radio.
Right, exactly. None of it's at this standard. Even the stuff that's going platinum now is just not of this standard.
Yo.
In terms of quality of production. I mean, production.
Did For Your Eyes Only go platinum?
I don't know.
I know all his other stuff went platinum.
Yes, the question is, you know, you black. What you gonna do about it?